In ancient times, in a distant land now called Palestine, a just king named Dawood ruled. Dawood always wanted his people to live in prosperity and comfort. He worked hard for many years to put an end to the suffering of his poor people. In the neighborhood of that land, the oppressive king named Dawood ruled. One day, Dawood attacked the borders of the land of Palestine and drove the people away from their homes, setting their fields on fire and destroying their homes. It did not take long for the news of this invasion of Dawood's army to reach Dawood. Dawood immediately set up an army and set out for battle. Dawood's army was very big and powerful. Under the command of their general, Dawood's soldiers easily fought and killed Dawood's army. Among the children of Israel was a man who had 3 sons. He too had sent his 2 sons to fight Dawood, but he did not let his youngest son Dawood go to war. One day he gave Dawood some food and said, "Take this food for your brothers, but do not enter the battlefield yourself." When Dawood found his brothers, he gave them food and asked them how the war was turning out. One of the brothers said, "This Dawood is like a giant. No one dares to fight him." "I can fight him," Dawood said. One of his brothers said, You will fight him? He will easily kill you." Dawood showed his stone hook and said, "I will fight him with this. Don't you remember that I killed a big bear that attacked our herd with this same hook?" At this point, one of the commanders who had heard Dawood's words led him to Dawood and told Dawood everything he had heard. Dawood thought for a moment and said, "Bring my special armor and dress him with it." When Dawood was dressing the armor, Dawood said, "If I'm not mistaken, this boy is the one who can defeat Dawood." One of Dawood's ministers asked, "Oh great king, he's just a boy. How do you know he's going to win?" "I just know it. He can defeat Dawood," Dawood said. "Now take him to the battlefield." When Dawood stood in front of Dawood laughed. "Hey boy, what are you doing here? Do you want to kill yourself? Go home." "I've come to fight you," Dawood said. Dawood laughed again. "Stop joking around and go home." However, Dawood didn't listen. Instead, he placed a stone between his stone hooks and spun it in the air. Then he suddenly let go. The stone hit Dawood's head and split his head open. Blood flowed from Dawood's head. Suddenly, Dawood fell from his horse to the ground and died. Dawood's soldiers fled when they saw their commander dead. Dawood's soldiers also pursued Dawood's soldiers and drove them out of their land. When Dawood saw Dawood's courage and bravery, he took him to his palace, and years later, he married his daughter and succeeded Dawood. Dawood also made sure his people were happy and comfortable. God chose him as a prophet and gave him great power and knowledge. And he had the most beautiful voice. People used to gather around him when he read passages from Zabur. Prophet Dawood was very just, and he was able to provide a comfortable and prosperous life for his people by using his divine powers.